Oh, we can go across the oceans and see the world tonight. Oh, say hello to the mountains and watch the new sunrise. But no matter what the country, the city, the street, by land or by sea, together forever is my favorite place to be. Together forever.
The dry ones just taste like dried pigs.
Do they taste like an orange to me?
Into your mouth.
Kind of got me.
Then you put her foot down before your hand.
Okay, so here's a little tour of our apartment. Woo! Look, so there's a door, and we have a little bathroom and a bigger bathroom, and there's our washer. We have no dryer. This is the room where I and the two younger sisters are sleeping. Oh, look how neat and nice it is. It's always like that. It's very clean. All right. And we have a little closet here. It's a closet. Woo! Okay, and then we go into the parents' room. They have a bigger bed and a window and a light. Oh, and some hats up there. They also have a mirror. Woo! Look at that mirror. All right. Oh, then we have the living room. This is the living room. There's the table we eat our food at. There is the kitchen where we prepare the food to eat on the table. And here, oh, that's the fridge where we keep the food we prepare to eat at the table. And then we have a chair and another chair and Patrick's bed. And then we go outside. This is the balcony. We have chairs, a little table, another chair, and a cute little view. Aw, look how cute. All right, so then we have our little scuba stuff, I guess. Yeah, this is where we keep our stuff to dry. And we have our clothesline because we don't have a dryer. We just, yeah, we stick things out here like a lot of people do here. And they dry like this. It's kind of fun and also not fun at the same time. All right, and that concludes our tour.
Try something besides pizza.
There's some not like mild sauce, it doesn't overcome the taste of everything else. Do you have the mozzarella?
Can I have some pizza butter with my juice?
Maybe your pizza is holding us up.
I said, when did we leave the house?
My dinner's
I don't know.
Oh, it's Mom's.
They have compliments with dinner.
Thank you.
Enjoy our food. Very.
It's a chicken with cheese roll, lettuce, and an onion, and yeah.
It's an Italiano.
Ooh, that looks really good. Patrick and I were invited to go sailing and do some awesome snorkeling with a couple we met here in Split. Stephen and Carrie were such great hosts. Before departure, Stephen came to pick us up in his little dinghy, which I must say is the littlest boat I have ever seen.
I'll be back with the little boat! The little boat?!
Our adventure began with a quick safety briefing where Captain Stephen showed us where all of the safety devices were located and gave us some quick training about sailing and some do's and don'ts. I was somewhat disappointed since there was almost no wind when we began, but that soon changed as the wind picked up to about 15 knots and we were able to do some awesome sailing for over 3 hours en route to our snorkeling spot. Stephen let Patrick and me sail as much as possible while he relaxed and made sure we didn't sink the boat. Carrie even made us a wonderful lunch. For the sake of brevity, I only include the few minutes of video where Patrick and I were able to catch the mooring ball after the 40th try, and after some patient instruction from the captain. After tying off, it was time to snorkel. The location was Jelinak, just west of Trogir. The first thing we noticed was a fighter plane placed at 35 feet of water as part of the attraction. The main attractions at this site are the statues composing the 14 Stations of the Cross, or statues portraying events in the life of Christ from his condemnation by Pontius Pilate to his entombment. Though the water was not as clear as usual, it did add a muted ambience to this underwater experience that was unforgettable. After an incredible afternoon of snorkeling, we were off to an area called Agana, where we would enjoy an awesome seafood dinner at a local restaurant, a walk through the local village, and an overnight stay on the boat while it was anchored in the bay. In the morning, with a thunderstorm past and a beautiful clear blue sky, I took the opportunity to spend a few moments interviewing Stephen and Carrie to find out why they'd sell everything and become full-time cruisers.
Okay, so who am I? For all of my life, my primary identity has been as a husband and a father, and that's been the most important thing to me. So even though I've done lots of things, I've had businesses, worked in lots of different roles and different industries, my primary thing of who I am is a husband and father. When my first wife left me, all that vaporized and I had to rebuild my life. This journey of sailing with thankfulness is part of that process of rebuilding my life and rebuilding my life with Carrie beside me.
And who am I? Well, I did define who I was very much by the things that I did rather than who I was. And in my previous life, I've been a school principal for 17 years. I had 5 children. I was married for 30 years to my first husband. And then I had a mental breakdown. And after that, I really came on this journey to discover who I really was without all the trappings, without all those things that normally define our identity, and I'm healing on this journey too. So who am I now? A child of God. I'm married to a wonderful man who loves me. I'm still a mother and a daughter, but very much becoming more of who I am rather than being defined by all the things that I used to do.
It's interesting, isn't it? As we grow up, we're often asked, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah.
And that's the question, what do you want to do? And I think for many people our identity gets wrapped up in what we do. I'm a business owner, I'm an accountant, I'm a teacher, I'm a pastor, I'm a missionary, or I'm whatever I do. But what transcends all of that is our purpose and the reason why we're here on this planet. For us, it's about going around and doing good and making other people's lives better.
To inspire, to encourage, and to bring hope.
So what made you decide to become full-time cruisers?
Why would you do anything else?
It's hard to remember life before this now, isn't it?
Having tasted it, it just seems a different world to go back to living in a house with a car and all those sorts of things. I used to have an electrical contracting business, and we were doing a job up a very long river in Australia, and coming back by boat at night, because the only access was by boat, we just thought, wow, what a life. Imagine if we could live on the water. And we weren't in a position where we could buy a house on the water. We didn't really have that many options, but we just started to dream. What if somehow we could change our circumstances, take a step, do something, and change our life? And so we just started doing step by step, doing what we could do, and that ultimately led to living in our own boat on the water
in the Mediterranean.
In the Mediterranean.
But it was a dream, really, wasn't it? When we decided that we wanted to take a step to get a boat, we looked at options in Australia, and the boats in Australia are very expensive, and there's not as many boats to choose from. And so we were looking at where are boats more readily available, and we were looking at the Mediterranean, and then we thought, well, why not buy it there and sail there, start our journey there? I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it was crazy thinking, wasn't it? And then we thought, well, why
Especially
not?
because we didn't know how to sail.
And we didn't know how to sail, and we didn't have the money for a boat either. So it just seemed like an impossible dream. But we also know, because we're Christians, that with God nothing is impossible. And so as we were looking into it more and taking one step, he just went before us, really. And here we are.
We just kept taking steps in faith that this is where God wanted us to go, and if that was the case, then a way would be made, and that's exactly what's been happening.
So everybody who goes to YouTube goes there for a reason, either entertainment or to learn something. In an effort to make this educational, what advice would you have for anyone who may choose to do the same thing? Just sell everything and go sailing.
My advice would be, don't just sell everything and go sailing unless you've got a purpose.
Yeah.
We speak to many people who are cruising on boats, living full time, and quite a number of them are not really sure why they're doing it, other than they see some nice scenery that's a bit exciting doing the boating, but there's no underlying purpose.
Yeah.
No matter how good your life is, if it's not connected with a purpose that's deep within you, it's going to become pretty empty pretty soon. So my advice is, before you even get fixated on sailing or whatever it is, make sure that you understand what your purpose is and where you're heading and why you're here and what it is that you're to do with your life. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
And our vision for our life is very simple. It's to, in our case, we're Christians, and so for us it's to first seek God in everything we do. And what that does for us is that it gets our vision outside of ourselves. Our purpose is to serve God.
And in doing that, serve other people.
Yeah. And the second part of our vision is to go into all the world. We can stay at home, and I know many people at this point in time have to stay at home because of different restrictions and things, but we can choose to do nothing, or we can take a step and go. And so that's what we've done. We've gone into the world, to the other side of the world. We're from Australia. And the third thing was to do what Jesus did, which is to go around doing good. There are many different forms that can take.
So we just look for opportunity.
Yeah, and so going around doing good, part of that is encouraging and inspiring people. And the number of people that have been inspired and encouraged by our YouTube channel already, and we're very early days, has been very encouraging to us. And it's very clear that people out there need hope. In a way, it's like having a coach. When you're doing life and it's a struggle and you don't know which way to turn, you don't know what to do next, having somebody else that's out doing something that maybe you want to do and seeing what they're struggling with and how they're overcoming it can be a great encouragement. And that's what we're finding through our YouTube channel. So.
Yeah, we're connecting with so many people. And it's interesting because we believe that God turns everything around for good. And so with my mental illness, there's a lot of people out there that are listening to my story and encouraged because they can see that there is hope. with our divorces. There's other people out there who are struggling in their marriages, and they're looking for hope as well. And so all the different facets of our journey that have been such a struggle for us, God's turned around and used for good, and now we can encourage other people in that, because there is hope, and we've seen it firsthand. And so the people that we talk to on a daily basis through YouTube every day and through Facebook is quite incredible. So we feel like we have a purpose to get up every day and to connect with people.
Having said that, it starts with vision and being clear about what your purpose is. It can't end there. You actually have to take a step and do something. And so many people come up with a vision for their life and a purpose and a goal, but they try and get all their ducks in a row before they start. And if you do that, in all likelihood, nothing is going to happen. In fulfilling your vision and purpose for your life, just take a step. And if it ends up being the wrong step, that's okay. At least you learned something. You learned a way that it didn't work, and you won't do it again. Or if it does work, then you're one step closer.
So what's one change or major adjustment you've made from land-based living to living as a full-time cruiser?
I think one change has been that when we were living on land, a lot of it was about we had the house or the apartment where we live and trying to make that apartment be exactly how we wanted it to be. And it's very stable. But living on a boat, everything is moving, everything is changing, everything is breaking all the time. So we've had to become very, very adaptable and very resourceful and patient. For example, our toilet broke down.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah. And it was 3 weeks before we could have a functioning toilet again. It's a long while to hang on. And a lot of people who start cruising on boats, what they're really trying to do is to recreate their life on the boat that they had before, instead of just embracing the differences. We started out very simply. We didn't change anything on the boat, although there were lots of things we wanted to change. We just started to get used to this new way of living and just embracing all the changes.
Carrie, for example, last night, if there's a thunderstorm and you're at your apartment or land-based home,
you don't even notice it, really.
Yeah, right? So explain kind of last night, what goes through your mind as a thunderstorm?
I get nervous because I'm always wondering how strong the winds will be. Will we rock around too much? But I was in bed, and Stephen's very on top of everything like this. He's very safety conscious, so I really don't need to worry. But I was lying in bed and he was jumping up and down and through the hatch and going and securing lines and shutting all the hatches because it started to rain, and I just slept basically. But I knew that I was safe because Stephen had it all covered for us. But if I was living on land, I wouldn't even notice. I wouldn't even notice that, you know, it just started to rain or how strong the winds were. But here we notice the wind and we have to go with the winds. We're really, really in touch with the weather and in touch with our environment, very much so. So
imagine you're laying in bed at night in your house. You can hear the rain starting, you can hear the wind starting to blow. But then your bed starts moving like this, and backwards and forwards. Then the wind comes through the open window and you can't get to the window. So the wind's coming in, and then the rain comes in and it's all moving. And the noise, you can't shut the window and block out the noise. And you're getting wet and you can't change it. And you look out of the window and you can see the stars, and all the stars are moving because the house is moving.
It's always moving.
Yeah. So it can be very unsettling that your whole world, when it's midnight and the wind's picked up and your whole world is moving. You have to be very attentive.
But at the same time, I love it. I love being so in touch with our surroundings. I love making decisions based on what the wind is doing rather than what day it is of the week. So I think we're so much more in touch with our surroundings and nature. Yeah, but like you said, we have to be really adaptable. If we plan to go to town today and it's raining or it's storming and we can't get to shore, well, we can't. We just have to change and go with that.
So for anybody looking for your YouTube site, I'll put the link down below in the description. But what's the name of the YouTube site where you're posting videos?
Sailing with Thankfulness.
And that's because we're sailing with thankfulness. We're thankful every day to be able to live this lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's really the point, isn't it? Because you can be thankful in the good things that happen, but you can also be thankful in the challenges, because the challenges we don't like them at the time, but ultimately we can learn from them and improve our life or improve the life of somebody else by being thankful.
Yeah.
I'll be back with the little boat. The little boat?
Throughout my life, I've been blessed to be introduced to individuals who eventually become loving friends and important mentors in my life. I feel so blessed to have been able to meet Stephen and Carrie, and I wish them the best in their endeavor to inspire, encourage, and bring hope to the world. Though sometimes we say, all good things must come to an end, I felt relaxed and at peace as Patrick and I headed back to the rest of the Riley family, and I somehow felt I had become larger and more alive from this wonderful experience. Yes, some may say that all good things come to an end, but I would say, some good things will never end.